This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Ken Coleman is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and author of the brand new book that launches tomorrow, From Paycheck to Purpose. The clear path to doing work you love. Now, Ken, if a book launches tomorrow, that means today is the last day to get all the bargains.
That's right. And we've put out quite a bargain. I mean, first of all, $20 is your entry point for this at RamseySolutions.com. And then we're going to give you the ebook, the audiobook read by me, plus over $100 in other tools like our resume templates, a video course that teaches you how to get hired, how to beat the competition. Right now, Dave, we have the biggest demand in employee talent we've ever seen, and it is competitive. And so that's a course that comes with that purchase, all a part of that $100 plus of free items. So we are certainly bribing, but it's one of the greatest bribes of all time.
55% of Americans are looking for a new job right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to stand out in that sea of talent, passion, and experience, you have to be very, very clear.
Yeah.
And Ken has the process to do that. From paycheck to purpose. One of the things some of you discovered during the aforementioned pandemic was that life's too short to spend your life doing things you suck at or you hate. Or both. Mm-hmm. And so people are leaving stuff where they're not any good at it. They're leaving stuff where they hate their toxic environment. They're sick of it. They want to move on. They want to do something with meaning. And From Paycheck to Purpose helps you do that. In the title, it tells you that. So
yeah, that's the whole process. By the way, we're giving you both. We want you to have a fatter paycheck and experience more purpose. And yet, Dave, in that Ramsey Solutions,
it's not either or.
It's not either or. It's both and.
It's not like I have to live my purpose, but I'm going to work at a nonprofit for 10% of what I can make somewhere else.
That's
no,
right.
That's just bullcrap.
That's exactly right.
That's
and this idea that I can't make a really good living doing something that I care deeply about. It's a process, and we unveil that path. Interesting, Dave, in the Ramsey Solutions work study, the full study will come out first of the year. That 55% of Americans looking for a new job right now, that's one little piece of data from this study. Another piece is that 64% of those Americans that are actually 64% are saying, I want to move, but I'm not sure where to move. And again, this book provides the clarity. That key word there, clear path, is this isn't just grab your machete and go. We're going to point you on the right path and show you how to do it, even if, by the way, you're working through the baby steps. I think a lot of people, certainly in the Ramsey Solutions tribe, go, okay, I definitely want to work on purpose, but I'm paying off debt. Well, there are multiple stages.
Maybe you could make more money.
Get a bigger shovel as a result of this and get out of debt faster. So
$20 for the book. Today's the last day that you get $100 worth of bonus tools like resume templates, guides, video courses, all kinds of goodies included in an audiobook, the ebook, everything in there. It's a deal. Today is the last day. From Paycheck to Purpose by Ken Coleman, #1 best-selling author. Esmeralda is going to start off this hour in Fresno. Hi, Esmeralda. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm glad to get to talk to both of you.
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so I'm currently a correctional nurse, and I get paid pretty well for what I do just because of the environment that I work in. And my goal is to become a school nurse, which I actually got the position, and I should start soon. But I'm definitely going to take a pay cut just because of the change of environment. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time because I'm just stressed and overwhelmed, and the environment is just not the best to work at. But my question is whether this is a good move right now financially, just because I will be taking a pay cut.
How big of a pay cut?
It's about $15,000 a year.
Okay. What do you make now?
I make $100.
Okay. And you're going to cut to 85 and be a school nurse? Is that what you said?
Yes, but then in about 2 to 3 years, I'll be back at 100.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about what the next 2 to 3 years looks like before that. So where does that put you? Are you single income, double income?
Double income. My husband makes about 120, so that's why he's not worried, and he's like, you need to go for this if this is something that you really want to do, because we have about $40,000 in debt, so he's willing to buckle down and pay all that off.
That's awesome. Well,
you have a $200,000 income between the two of you, sure.
Yeah, so this is
I think it's just more me and being scared of, like, hey, I went to school, got my RN, and I wanted to make 100, and I think it's just more me taking, like, the drawback of taking the pay cut.
Yeah, can I suggest to you, Esmeralda, it may not be just you. Part of this, I wonder if you're worried about what other people might say or are already saying when you go from RN and this, that's obviously a very prestigious role, and moving into school nurse. I wonder how much of that is coming from what you think other people might think or say.
I don't think I think it's just me. I had a goal of making a certain amount, and now I am. And with overtime here, the potential is limitless. But also, I'm concerned with my mental health and obviously a little bit of safety, because it's getting a little out of control in here at times, I would say.
Well, Esmeralda, you just laid out multiple reasons. You answered your own question as to why this is the right move. All of those negatives are absolutely confirmation that you need to move. But the biggest confirmation is that you've longed for this. You said, I've wanted to do this for a long time. Your husband is on board. That's a fantastic position to be in financially. This is not going to be that big of a hit. You're still going to pay off that debt, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to be fulfilled. And I understand where you're coming from, but you need to give yourself a break, because you have, in fact, achieved that goal. But what's great is you now realize that goal doesn't match up with your heart. And you got to follow your heart here, Esmeralda. Step into this. This is a great move. There's nothing wrong with this move. This is the right move.
What's the worst case scenario? You take the new job, and you get over there, and you hate it. And 20 seconds later, you can be an RN again in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, yeah, I can find a job.
So you're not. This is not this is not like you burned all the boats and you can't go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do whatever you want to do. Go try it. And if it doesn't work, go back to being an RN in a less toxic environment, someplace, some other hospital, some other situation.
I will be an RN at the school.
I know, but I'm saying go back into the medical world rather than the school nurse world. And if you don't like it, if you like it, this is a no-lose scenario.
Yeah.
Because you can, in the world that you live in, you can get another job in 26 seconds if you decide you don't want to be a school nurse anymore after a year. So do it. Absolutely. Go do it, Esmeralda.
Yes.
That's exactly the way this works, guys. So what Ken does every day on the Ken Coleman Show. If you want to talk careers, we'll do that. You want to talk money, we'll do that. The phone number is 888-825-5225, or we'll talk about your mama. You're right in front of you if you want me to. Whatever you want to talk about, we're here. It's that simple. The book is From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love. On the streets tomorrow, last day today of the pre-sale at RamseySolutions.com with all the goodies. Get it while the getting's good.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome to the Ramsey Show. Common sense for your dollars and cents. In a culture where common sense is so rare that if you have it, it's like having a superpower. Ken Coleman and I are here to help you with your life, your money, your career. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Devin is calling us from Japan. Well, there you go. Hi, Devin.
Hi, Dave. I'm looking for short-term housing for about 2 months out of the year. When we come home, come back to the States in the summertime. My wife is a teacher, and I'm retired military. So in the summers when we come home, we need a place to stay for about 2 months. And we don't own property right now. And with the way the market is right now, I don't see when that could actually happen. But should we buy a house, or is there a good way to find? I didn't think so, and I wasn't really warm to that. I've tried Airbnb, but Airbnb just seems really overpriced to me. So I'm looking, are there any other alternatives to that?
There's some corporate housing stuff out there in the hotel world. Where somebody's coming to town to work, and it's like a corporate suite thing. It's not necessarily the best in the world, but I would probably prefer an Airbnb or a vacation setting of some kind. And it just depends. You know, what I've done on not Airbnb, but on vacation housing is, and I did it not long ago, I negotiated with the owner. I said, listen, I'm not going to be there for a week, and I'm not going to be there for a weekend. I'm going to be there for a month. Now, you don't have to change anything out. You don't have the labor. You don't have the turnover. You don't have somebody tearing up your stuff. This was a luxury property. I'm going to be there a month. I didn't stay the whole month, but Sharon did. So I had to come back and work. But anyway, so we rented the thing, and it was, in effect, like an Airbnb type thing. It was a luxury vacation rental, and I just negotiated with the guy. Now, I got to tell you, the first 3 people we went at said, no, we want full price. And I said, well, you're not the one then. And because guess what? There's 3 more down the street, and I'm going down the street until I find one. And I think that's what you're looking for. So you may have to get something that's not your first choice, but I think you shop around in that world and you go at it with, this is a 2-month deal. It's not a weekend rental. And you should get a different reaction. If you put your shoes on the other feet, what I was doing, I was saying, I mean, wear the other guy's moccasins. If I had a vacation rental up, I would do a deal that way.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm getting I don't have to screw with it, right? And I don't have the wear and tear of 3 bachelorette parties versus a stable family, coming in and out of there.
Yeah.
Which nothing will tear up a house like a frat or a bachelorette party. They'll just tear up anything.
Right.
So wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it just depends here on his situation too, where he's staying, where they're coming in. Do they have any community where they come back to for a small amount of time? And putting the word out too. I wouldn't overlook the idea of like putting the word out, saying, "Hey, here's our situation." Rates can be really high on these vacation homes.
Talk to some local pastors. If your mom and dad are in a church in that market, or your brother's in a church in that market, tell them, check with their pastor and say, "Hey, my brother." He served. His wife's a teacher. Yeah. And by the way, thank you for your service, Devin.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the best idea I got, dude, off the top of my head. That, and you can check some corporate housing. Those things are typically not as good a property as a good vacation rental, a good one. Rick is with us. Rick is in Houston, Texas. Hi, Rick. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
And so I recently lost my job. I was on step 3D, so I had $10,000 in my savings from my emergency fund and $17,000 in my separate savings. I was saving up for a house fund. If I need to start pulling from my savings before I'm able to land another job, should I be pulling from the house fund and leave the emergency fund alone, or should I be pulling from the emergency fund itself?
I don't think it matters because you could rename either one of them at the drop of a hat, right?
Well, I guess I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just $27,000 we've got between us and problems, and so. Right. But I probably philosophically would start with the house fund. Here's the thing, though. I really don't want you to tap it at all. Yeah. When did you lose your job?
Friday.
From what? Why?
There was a training incident. I was training a guy, and there was an undercharge in one of the units, and they terminated both of us.
Okay. All right.
What kind of work are you looking for?
I'm a process operator in the chemical field.
Okay. In your area of Houston, Texas, I'm assuming you've done a cursory check. What kind of jobs are open? Is there a lot out there, or is it a little bit tougher?
Yeah, typically they do the most hiring in the spring, but there's a few here and there that'll hire at this time of year. It's just,
Well, and they probably are shorthanded right now.
Right.
You probably got some people that normally would hire in the spring, but they've got some empty seats.
Yeah.
Right.
What kind of money were you making?
I was at base salary at $95,000.
Yeah. I'm with Dave on Don't Touch It at All, and I'll tell you why. Wall Street Journal headline over the weekend. Companies, it said something to the fact of no experience, no education, no background check required. That was the headline. And that's where companies are right now. And we're talking about big time companies. And so I just think that the market is so hot in the interim while you're applying and you're making the connections and getting interviews. Dude, you could be making somewhere between $15 and $20 an hour just to kind of keep things going. I just wouldn't touch that account. I don't think you need to.
I think you're going to start making some money by Friday.
Yeah.
And while you look for this job, and I think you'll land a job in 2 weeks. So I don't think you're going to end up touching it. But you can make $15, $20 an hour doing almost anything right now because there's such a hurt in the market.
Yeah.
And it may not be what you want to do, but rather than mess up your house fund, is what I want to do. Sit on my butt at home and mess up the house fund. No, I'll go do something else, something unpleasant that I didn't really sign up for until this gets solved. Mm-hmm. But I think you're going to land something if you'll get on this really, really fast. So Ken, the first thing he should do in his job hunt is what?
First thing I want him to do is look at what's open out there, and then he immediately goes, okay, who do I know? I'm looking at the connections.
Proximity principle.
Because he's got experience and skill.
Yeah.
Okay. And so he's immediately going, all right, company XYZ, ABC are both hiring a position. I'm ready to go. Who do I know over there so I can fast track and get above the applicant system? And what I mean by that is, somebody, Rick, and they say, all right, yeah, man, I'll put in a good word for you. I work in building B. The guy who's hiring's over in building A. I'll walk your resume over, put a handwritten note on it if they're not in their office and go, hey, I've known Rick for 18 years. That's the play here. And then you go through the applicant system. But you want to have a good impression before you ever get into that. And they go, okay, we're going to fast track an interview for Rick. That's what we're trying to do first.
Exactly. You get your foot in the door. You got to know somebody to get in and get past the 30,000 resumes in a stack.
Yeah.
And the book he's referring to, the concept he's referring to is the proximity principle. It was a #1 bestseller, Rick. I'm going to send you that. And I'm also going to give away my very first copy that I gave away of From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love. So I'm going to send you both of Ken's books. The new one will be a bestseller as well. And then I want you to also, I'm going to send those to you. Kelly's going to pick up and give you the stuff. But go to his website and download all of his free downloads on resumes, on letter writing, on the things you do to get your foot in the door. Do not just go apply for 8,000 positions at monster.com and be surprised nobody called you back. That's a fool's errand right now.
Yeah. And let me tell you why that advice that I gave is also so vital in this situation. It doesn't sound like there's an ethical issue here, but the fact of the matter is Rick was terminated. And yet we still have a super hot market, and people are okay with that if you own it. Don't try to do a politician's spin on this stuff. If it comes up, own it. Own it with confidence, humility. I learned from this is a good thing. I totally get it. Don't throw the old company under the bus. Here's how I can help you win. I'm ready to go. Don't ever try to just kind of cover that stuff up.
Well, when I asked him, he gave the perfect answer.
He gave a great answer.
It was not emotion. It was not throwing the other company under the bus. He was not a victim.
That's correct.
It was very clear, very concise. And that's the exact answer he ought to give up front in any initial interview so that no one catches later and goes, well, why didn't you tell us about this? No, tell them right up front. Bust that down and move on. Move on. Move on. Move on. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Kyle and Brenda are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Delano, Minnesota, just outside of Minneapolis.
Wow, and all the way to Nashville to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
$572,383.41.
Wow. How long did that take?
7 years and 2 months.
All right. And your range of income during that 7 years and 2 months?
Yeah, it was about 110 to 200, and currently we're at about 140.
Okay, cool. What do y'all do for a living?
Brenda's a stay-at-home mom, and I am a reporting analyst for a large health insurance company.
Cool. Well, I'm guessing by the length of time and the huge amount of money you paid off your house.
Yep.
Woo! Look at that weird people!
Yeah, and we also own a third of a lake home, too, so 1 1/3 houses, I guess, technically.
All right, all debt-free, 100% debt. Don't owe a soul in the freaking world.
Nope.
Way to go, guys. Look at these weird people. These are weird people right here, man. You guys are amazing. Congratulations. What a 7-year journey. That's absolutely cool.
Yeah.
All right, tell us the story. How'd you get on our stuff for 7 years?
Yeah, when our second child we knew they were on the way, we put in our spreadsheet that was less than accurate and optimistic at best, and the number was actually negative, so we knew that we had to do something.
We didn't have enough money to pay for daycare for our second child.
And so we naturally, I think we went on Facebook, and then when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, and someone posted something about it, bought the total money makeover, and I persuaded Brenda to join in the fun. So
a lot of persuading, but I'm glad he did.
Okay, so he reads this book and says, we can't pay for daycare, which you already knew.
Yeah.
But this is what we're going to do is live on beans and rice and beans. Live like no one else so later we can live and give like no one else. And you said, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it took a lot of convincing to, the slow steps of, you want me to cut up my credit card? You want me to do what? What if something happens? Being a mom, having all those insecurities. And then we just went for it, and we went crazy, and everybody calls us crazy.
You are crazy. You're wonderfully weird. I love it. Wonderfully weird. So what did he do that finally convinced you, Brenda?
What did you do? I don't know. It was I think just staring down that we had no other choice.
I don't know what else to do, so I got to try this crazy stuff.
Right.
Okay, that's fair.
And he's my partner, and I trust him, and
that's fair.
So we just went for it.
Okay. And then the more it worked, the more you thought this is smart.
Right.
Yeah.
We got after it pretty quick. I mean, and I was able to quit my job and take care of our kids before our third was born. We bought a brand new vehicle with cash and did all that before we even started to attack the house and the mortgage.
Wow. So how fast did you get out of the non-mortgage debt?
It was a little over 2 years, like exactly what your numbers were.
Our normal stuff,
yeah.
Yep.
And
2 years to do that, 7 years to pay off the house, yeah.
Yep. And the car she's talking about was a sweet minivan, so she might have left that part out.
A sweet minivan.
Let's just go ahead and call it what it is.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, Brenda, you said something a minute ago, and I think this is really good. I'd love for moms and wives to hear what you say about this. When he first approached you about this, you were like, wait a second, I got to cut up the credit cards? What if something happens? Mm-hmm. Implying that you saw those credit cards as a safety net, and I understand that.
Yep.
And yet, here you are now. So what would you say, which is a natural kind of that mother, like, hey, I got to take care. I'm a mama bear.
Yep.
on the other side of this, what would you say to somebody who's listening and watching right now and they feel the same way about this journey? What? I got to cut up the credit cards? That's our safety net. What's the answer to that now?
Go get the scissors. I don't know. It just is. It's just you.
But can you have a safety net without credit cards is my question.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I've never even thought about getting a credit card. You absolutely can.
So how did you approach that emotionally as you started to walk through that? Because you cut them up, and then how did you address that safety issue, that emotional need?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just trusted the process and knew that it was there for me and it was there to catch me as long as I put my trust in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Temporary, just for a while, because here you are 7 years later with a paid-for house. What's this house worth?
It's probably $250-ish, something like that.
We got real crazy. We actually downsized our house in order to be debt-free sooner.
You introduced us to the minimalist, and then we gave away all our stuff, and then we realized we don't really need the big house that we were in before, and opportunity came in that we were able to get my grandma's house, and we downsized. Everybody thought we were nuts, and 2 years later, no.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
A lot of people thought you were nuts, but you're not. You're on your way to being Baby Steps millionaires in no time.
I think so.
Well done, guys.
Actually,
we already are.
Yeah,
you already are.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So how much in the 401k?
It's probably like six. It's like 600, and then the house and cabin's 400 something. So it's plus our minivan's probably still worth 10.
That sweet minivan, put them over the top.
There's your breakthrough. That's your wealth building breakthrough, the sweet minivan.
Yep.
Way to go, guys.
Oh, thanks.
I love it. Well, you did everything in order. You did it right. You submitted to the process, and guess what? The process worked.
Yep.
So you're not only debt-free, house and everything, Baby Step 7, but you're Baby Steps millionaires as well. Way to go. I'm so proud of y'all. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Well, we were saying about the budget and how that's cliche, so we were going to pull up the minimalist card and just say, like, just keep an open mind and try to listen to what other people are doing and just keep learning. And it once you get going, it just snowballs and it just rapid pace. And next thing you know, you look back and 7 years later and you're done.
Yeah. What about you, Brenda? What do you tell people the key is?
The key is definitely the budget, but two, I think like the deprogramming of what the world has told us that we need to be, and how all of a sudden you look back and you're like, wait, I don't need all this stuff. I don't need this house. I don't need these things. I just need my life.
I love it.
Wow.
Hey, we got to send this to Joshua. They will love this.
Joshua and Ryan will love it.
They will love this.
Oh, yeah. That's really great.
We had dinner with them last time they were here up at my house and hung out. We had some great conversations till deep in the morning. They're incredible guys. So well done, you guys. I'm so proud of you. Very, very, very cool. And you brought the kiddos with you to celebrate?
We did.
What are their names and ages?
Drew is 9, Will is going to be 7, and Reed turned 5 on Sunday.
All right. Very cool. And have they been plugged into what you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They know that their lives are changed.
They do.
There's no payments in your world.
None.
Ever again. I love it. Way to go, you guys. Very, very, very cool. Well, we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you because that's definitely the next chapter in your story as you continue this Baby Steps Millionaire journey. And I'll give you an extra copy of Total Money Makeover to give away. Maybe you can start somebody off like you guys started off on that same book.
That sounds good.
And that's how you got here. Well done, you guys. Very proud of you. Woo! I love it. So, man, these people are weird. They're awesome. They're awesome. All right, Kyle and Brenda, Drew, Will, and Reed from the Minneapolis area. $572,000 paid off in 7 years, making $110,000 to $200,000. House and everything. Baby Steps Millionaires. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free.
Yeah. Oh, man. Ken, when you have a clear path, and the stuff she said, I love the phrase, submit to the process. Yeah. She said, deprogram from the culture.
Big word.
Because the culture's idiots.
That's right.
In almost everything.
That's right.
Almost any area of life, this culture has lost its mind. So deprogrammed from that, doing your own thought, your own independent critical thinking. My good friend, one of my best friends is a pastor. He says, don't let the world teach you theology. talk about deprogramming, right? And so, you know, where are you getting your truth from? What are you dialing in on? Are you believing all these broke people? Are they giving you advice about money? Because they talked about how many times somebody thought they were crazy, but look at crazy now, baby.
Crazy rich.
I love it. This is so fun. This is the Ramsey Show. Dave Ramsey. Welcome to the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host. His brand new book comes out tomorrow. From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love. The baby steps are a clear path to becoming a Baby Steps millionaire. Paycheck to Purpose outlines the clear path to doing work you love. Exactly step by step what you need to do. If you want the goodies, all the pre-sale items that go with it, order it today and you get an extra $100 worth of stuff that you won't get tomorrow, all for the same $20. Not a bad deal. Our question today comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they will remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from John in Indianapolis. I have a high-stress job that pays $230,000 a year. In addition to dealing with aging parents, teenagers, and the pandemic, the job is wearing me out, and it's having a negative impact on my life. I've been offered a new job where I'd take a $30,000 to $40,000 a year pay cut with the same company, but the work is invigorating and entrepreneurial. I'm having trouble justifying this pay decrease, although I feel I'm going to be happier. Our only debt is our mortgage. College is funded. My wife earns a great salary, and we have a healthy savings account. So why am I struggling with this decision? I don't want to be one of those unhappy people saddled with a job they don't like, yet they stay for the money. Well, John, then don't be one of those people. You don't want to be one of those people. So my mentor, this guy to the left of me, he's got a great little tactic when he gives a speech and he's talking about money changing. You go, just aside, just a little quick clap. And I think, John, you don't want to be one of those unhappy people that stay just for the money. Let me help you a little bit. You don't need the money. A $30,000 to $40,000 pay cut right now for you is going to take you just below $200,000 a year, and your wife makes a great salary. We don't even know that number. So you guys may be in that $300,000 range. You're above $250,000. This work is clearly having a tremendous impact on you. All of the signs are there. You need to give yourself permission to do the right thing. And this is the right thing. I will also tell you that this new job, being invigorating and entrepreneurial, tells me two things. That there's probably a path back up to the money you're making now, if not going beyond that. I don't have that information in front of me, but this is the right move. You don't need to feel bad about it. You're not doing the wrong thing. You know, Dave, it reminds me, we heard our last, the Debt-Free Screamer talk about deprogramming. And this is an issue here where we are so programmed in our world to put significance and success completely in the financial bucket. And yet that's just simply not the case. And it makes people like John feel like if I take a strategic cut that I can absolutely absorb, that somehow I'm doing the wrong thing, or it's a dumb thing, or a not smart thing. And I think that's real. But in this case, John, this is the right move all the way around.
I don't think it's dumb. And I agree with Ken, I would take it. However, I think you need to keep in mind that the aging parents and the teenagers are still going to be there. So where's your stress really coming from? What's really going on? I mean, have you got some family stuff that's out of balance and you need to set some boundaries? Have you got some tough decisions you've been unwilling to make? with either one of those other two subjects that are that are the real cause of the stress, make real sure you're treating the right problem, not the symptom. And the second thing is this. Again, I'll agree with Kent. Take the job, John. However, I do not agree with the supposition that the only way you find happiness is to move down in income. That you can't find something that's invigorating, what was the phrase he used? And entrepreneurial that pays $300,000 a year. Why is it we always think to be happy we have to make less money? What is this stupid thing that's floating around in this culture that says that? By the way, if you do something you love, you're better at it, and you should make more money, ultimately.
Yeah.
I mean, but this idea that you have to have poverty associated with happiness or less money associated with happiness is absurd. So I would choose a third option as a consideration, and that is, where can I find something invigorating, entrepreneurial that pays $300,000? Oh. Why is it we have to go down all the time? I don't understand this. So anyway, it's okay if you do, and I'm going with Ken's recommendation, but I'm going to challenge you on those 2 points. Make sure you got the parents and the teenager thing working, because, dude, that's still going to be there.
Yep.
And you got to be careful what you think the stress is. So, the first time that happened to me is when I filed bankruptcy. The bankruptcy attorney didn't do a lot of things right, but he said one really wise thing. He said, because you're under this tremendous weight of debt, which feels like he feels, right? You got this overwhelming anxiety over the top of you, and where you're like something standing on your chest. I can't breathe. And then the day you file bankruptcy, that debt's just poof. Most of it anyway, is gone, right? And you got some more stress points, but by and large, I've been fighting it for 2.5 years. I was ready to set down the rock, baby.
Yes.
Okay? But that guy looks at me and he goes, you know what? Filing bankruptcy does not create an income.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah, that's right. It's really good.
It's like, you're not going to prosper because you filed bankruptcy. You've still got to go out there to kill it and drag it home. Whatever it is, you still got to find a way to eat. And, of course, I respond, I got this figured out. But I mean, it's still, I can remember that 30 years ago. I remember that conversation right now.
Yeah.
And so that's what I always think, be careful what you wish for, because it may not be touching what you're talking about. You're still the common denominator. You're still going to be in the next marriage. You're still going to be in the next job. Your parents and your teens are still going to be there after you make this move. You're the common denominator. It follows you everywhere.
I'm glad you brought that up because he could take this move and it could be on paper all the things that he says it is. But if the personal life is burning, the job doesn't solve that.
Right.
It will help, right? In some ways, you've got some purpose as you move into the office.
But if it's 70% job stress and 30% family, it'll help.
It'll help.
If it's the other way around,
it's not going to make a difference.
You're just going to make less money is all you're going to do.
That's exactly right. And I think that was a really great call out here. And I would also agree with you in this situation, if that's the only thing that you've got, but it's rarely the only thing. And this is a situation going, well, I've got an opportunity here, and it's going to be better in all these ways, and it's less money. And I think you're right. You got to consider the whole field, the whole universe of jobs.
Samantha's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Samantha. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. It's an honor to speak with you both.
You too. How can we help?
Well, my husband and I we're on baby step 7. We have 5 different retirement accounts between us both. I'm wanting to open a SEP IRA with our business to reduce our taxable income. But my question is there a maximum number of retirement accounts a couple can have without being penalized somehow?
No, there's not a maximum. You can do
Great.
Whatever you need to do. If you have too much money sitting in an old 401k or old IRA, it could affect your Roth contributions, but that's all. But those are old. But in terms of can you do it, you can do a SEP IRA. You could do a SEP Roth IRA instead. You can do a Roth IRA at the same time. And your husband can do his 401k over at work. Now, the SEP is any employees who have been with you more than 3 of the last 5 years are also going to get the same percentage of their income that you put in the percentage of your income into it. So do you have employees been with you a while?
We do not.
Okay, so you can put in up to about 13.6 is what the calculation is going to end up being, 13.6% of your profit on that business. Your taxable income on that business can go into that SEP, and you can make it a Roth SEP is what I would do, and get with one of our SmartVestor pros at RamseySolutions.com and get signed up for that. And, they can help you walk through the process. But, there's a lot of different kinds of accounts. You can have 401ks. You could have a 401k at your work. You could have a 403b at his work. You could have SEPs. You can have individual IRAs at the same time as you've got all these others. There's a couple of them. There's one or two of them that overlap. Now, and each of them have a contribution limit that you can do. But the number of accounts, no, by and large, there's very little, if any, limitation on that. So, good question. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, my co-host today here on the air. This is The Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for jumping in. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Today is the last day to order his new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love, for $20. And get $100 worth of pre-sale items thrown in. All kinds of goodies there. You can get the video course, guides, templates, resume templates. You can get the audio book and the ebook, all included. The pre-order ends tonight because the book goes on sale in bookstores and around America all day starting tomorrow. And all of you that have pre-ordered the book, they will all ship this week to you. So you're going to be getting them as soon as possible. We've been able to work through the pandemic paper shortage and got the books out.
No question.
Got them out into Target and into Barnes and Noble and into that fine French store and all those places, right? And all the places great books are sold. And of course Amazon has them, and of course Ramsey Solutions has them. If you want to do the pre-order and get all the deal, go to RamseySolutions.com today. Today's your last day. Gary's with us. Gary is in Kansas City. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Team Ramsey. Honor to speak with you.
You too.
I wanted to just go over what's in my life and my brother's lives, a little bit of a complex question we need answered regarding my mom who died a couple of months ago and some of the fallout from that. Oh, thanks.
What happened? What did she pass away from?
I think officially it was COVID. However, there was more to it. She had a lot on her mind. She was dealing with my dad who had dementia. She was lived a life of service and entertaining for us, and just provided a life that she was a very joyful person, and a lot of friends, a lot of great relationships she had established, and we were just blessed for her. A couple of weeks ago, you mentioned what we inherit from our parents, a big cash nest egg and all. Maybe that's not so good, but instead is better a work ethic. And I think we got that from my parents. God bless them,
Amen.
Anyway, we miss her fiercely. And so it's sad. Part of so that's joy, but there's a sad part that we're trying to work through. She was scammed the last 2 years of her life. Pretty, and she bought into it pretty pretty deeply. And we were sort of tracking it, but not not as close as we should have. As I'm remote from her, I have some Mega Million scam or something got into her head, and she was very concerned about providing some kind of inheritance for us.
Is your dad still alive?
He is, and yes, he's with us, and my middle brother is really stepped up, and he's doing dad, basically taking the place of what my mom was doing.
So did she lose all of their assets?
In a word, yes.
Okay.
She sold a house about a year and a half ago. All the proceeds spent
and there's nothing left but debt.
The debt is not that. So the debt is like kind of small, but it's where we're going with this question is the ethics of it. So she had, in this scam, the scammers had convinced her to buy 3 iPhone 12s. And they would reimburse her in all this, and it was somehow how she was going to pay the taxes as well. That's where a lot of the money apparently went. So she bought these 3 iPhone 12s. They're $1,000 a piece, and a big cell company or a big one of the big ones now has this bill out. She wasn't getting the installments of funding that were said to be coming from the scammers.
Of course.
So at the point where she bought these phones and then, of course, shipped them off, all at her expense with the cell phone provider companies or whatever. They got 2 free phones. She kept one of them, and now she wasn't going to pay the finance, you're financing these things, and then she was, I guess, so she didn't pay the $3,000 off. We still have this $3,000 bill, and there's nothing to be redeemed as far as her credit, because her credit's shot. She had a great credit. She did great things with her money through her life.
When you pass away, Gary, what you own stands good for what you owe. And so she has a $3,000 debt. Did she own, your dad and her own anything?
He's got a car. There's little penny ante stuff that is around a car. There was some hard assets that were able to liquidate in an event that wasn't even to be done, but we weren't really interested. They come after her estate. I guess
yes,
that's where.
That's all they can do. They can come after her estate, and if you guys sold an antique dresser for $10,000 and kept that money instead of paying this bill, then they would have recourse against you guys.
Okay, so she saddled us with this. It sounds like.
Yeah, what you own stands good for what you owe when you pass away. But your kids do not inherit debt. But your kids will not get an inheritance until the debt is paid out of the things that they owned, your mom and dad owned. Where is your dad living?
He's in a memory care facility.
Okay. All right.
So he's got a pension.
Is there a checking account with $3,000 in it?
Yes, there's that. Yeah. We've got a little bit of. Yeah. My brothers and I are all.
If this is the only debt that there is, you're going to have to pay that debt in order to clear the rest of the assets, even though they're penny ante. It's not ethics; it's the law.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're probably for $3,000 not going to chase you guys down and put you in a headlock and try to get the $3,000 out of you as a practical matter. But that's technically the way this works, and so morally the way this works.
Understood.
Yeah, you're gonna have the unhappy experience of completing the scam. Right.
Goodness. Okay. And how prevalent is this? Is this
very prevalent?
Do I need to get, as I retire from my military career, should I go into detective work and cyber and regarding trying to protect elders from their finances?
The only problem is the people that would be paying you are broke because they've been scammed. But yeah, it's pretty prevalent. That's a pretty standard, the iPhone scam, that whole thing, that's fairly normal. We hear it, sadly, more often than we should. And, it's pretty prevalent. But I don't know whether you can make an income doing it or not. That's a whole nother discussion. This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So if you suspect that a loved one is being scammed, suggested steps?
I think you have to have a sit down with them and say, hey, I think something's fishy here. Can we dig into this? And try not to put them on the defensive, but ask some questions, dig in, do a little bit of your own version of a private investigator and dive into it, and then show them, hey, this doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And many times they just need somebody else to kind of look at it and go, hey, this doesn't seem right. And I think that's the first thing I do. And if it's not right, I'd say, hey, this is a bad idea. We're going to get you out of this. Let me help. You know, because I think there's a certain amount of embarrassment there.
Oh, always.
Think about that, you know. So I go in a little easy. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of talking to my father, you know, if he were to have that situation, and I'm going to have to come in there and not embarrass him, not make him feel like he was totally duped, make the bad guy, not them the bad guy. That would be my approach.
That's exactly right. That's exactly how you do it. And it's really not hard to research these scams.
That's correct.
Well, a simple Google search will pop up in front of you, and, Mega Millions scam, a Spanish letter scam, Nigerian letter scam. There's several versions out there. And the people get sucked into all kinds of different things. And if you have enough information, you know, where there's cell phone and Mega Millions are both mentioned, all you got to do is type that in and boom, it'll pop up, show you exactly what they're doing, how they're working it, what's going on, and then you just can send that link and go, listen, this is what's happening to you.
Yeah, let's get you out of this.
And so, you didn't do anything wrong.
No.
You were just trying to leave an inheritance. What a horrible motivation.
It's unbelievable.
But the number of times I've seen people, in the name of leaving an inheritance to their children, get into stuff they should not get into is, over 30 years of doing this, it's all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Bad financial products, real straight up scams like that lady got scammed, but all in the name of, I want to leave the kids something, which is a misguided thing to start with. The most important thing you can leave them is to not do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've learned this, if it's too good to be true, it's almost always too good to be true.
And if it smells fishy, there's fish involved. I mean, come on.
True. That's true.
If you think, I got a bad feeling. You know why you got this just felt weird. You know why it felt weird? Because it was weird.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it felt weird.
Yeah.
And trust yourself, Yeah,
I'm glad you said that. So, I'm a big nerd and I read a lot. I'm reading a book right now by a physicist. And, it's legendary. You talk about Sharon, Dave's wife, Sharon. She's got incredible, great common sense. And you always talk about that feeling. You say it the way that I can't say it, but you can say it. It's pretty
feeling.
There it is.
There it is.
And, but there's actually, the physicists have done research on this. Real quick, they put heart monitors on world-class grandmaster chess players to find out if that gut feeling, is that a gut feeling, or is it actually tied to the same mechanism that we kind of say, well, I logically thought through this decision. Long story short, the grandmaster chess player's heart rate spiked every time in the match before they made an incorrect move. And the conclusion was that gut feeling, That's actually your brain sending a physical response to your body, and your heart is warning you.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do
so
it.
I just wanted to point out that when you have a bad feeling, don't put that off as a gut thing, as some mysterious thing. That's your brain and your body combining to go, stop.
Yeah. But I had a weird feeling about him. You know, that's because he's weird.
Right.
You know?
That's
just, you know, that's the thing. It's just trust yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, because you know that about 20 times while that lady was sending off that money of those cell phones and selling her house to do this, that she had those things. You know she had an inkling that this was wrong. And so the way you can step in is to tap into that and say, you got to trust yourself. Because yourself is telling yourself, this is a bad deal. This is a bad thing. Trust yourself. And I used to say, trust your gut instinct. And my friend who's a pastor said, that's not your gut. That's the Holy Spirit. Don't call the Holy Spirit your gut.
I agree.
So trust God's Spirit that's in you, which will speak to you and say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and your body is...
It sounded more like a demon than it did God's
Kind of
Spirit.
did. But hey, that's kind of what we have to get rid of sometimes, right?
Alex is with us in Minneapolis. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Hey, so my husband and I are both about 30 respectively. We make about $200K together. We have a little baby, just one kid. We have no debt. We are investing in full. We tithe in full, etc. We also have our 6-month emergency fund saved up, and we have a little bit of extra money. Well, I'd say we've got about $40,000 on top of our 6-month emergency fund that we're not really sure what to do with. We were thinking about putting it into our house to pay against the principal, but we only plan to be in the house for another 3 years or so.
Doesn't matter.
Should
Pay it off
we do
anyway.
that anyways?
Pay it off anyway.
Pay it off anyways?
Fast as you can.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, you should be putting no more than 15% of your income currently into retirement, and you should be saving for your kids' college. And every dollar that you have beyond that, after having a reasonable life, because you're at a good stage of this, goes towards the house. That's what we call baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Now, when the house is paid off, then I would go back and I would max out retirement. But until then, I want this house paid off, because we've discovered in our study of millionaires, the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America, that the typical millionaire, the first $1 million to $2 million worth of net worth that they gain is from a paid-for house and a funded retirement.
Okay.
Not one or the other, it's both.
That makes sense. We thought that was going to be the answer. We were just nervous about it.
It's okay. It's okay. Here's the thing. You're not going to lose the money by paying the house mortgage down, because if you do sell the house within 3 years, which you're anticipating, they're going to write you a check at closing. All that money comes back out.
Yeah. So it sounds like you recommend that we're planning to move and we know where we want to go next by buying a piece of property. So do you recommend paying the house instead of putting money on the property right away?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Because the two things I run into are not a paid-for third piece of property in the millionaire study. I run into paid-for houses and fully funded retirement plans. That's what we run into all the time. That's where the data leads me. And so I think I'm going that direction every time there. Every time. So, good question.
Dave, what's the emotion there? Because they're amazing. What an unbelievable
what a great
couple.
job.
So
They've done such a good job, yes.
What's the emotion there? Where does that come from on that? What's behind that? This is a person who's very smart with their money. Should I put that $40,000 into the house when I'm moving in 3 years? What's causing that to think, oh, we don't know if that's smart, is what she said.
It feels like it's trapped. It feels like the money's trapped.
Okay. Can't do anything with it. It's in now in the house. Okay.
And that
makes sense.
By the way, that's also a good thing.
Right.
Because you don't accidentally buy a bass boat with it. You know. Oops. Oops, there's a bass boat in the driveway.
That is true.
Yeah, and so when you trap it in there, but it does feel like, ooh, I can't get it back out. I can't get to it.
That's good.
And that's why, you know, someone who's that smart, I still remind them, even though I know they know this, that they're going to get their money back out of the house when they sell it. Because you need to emotionally feel that, oh, it's not really gone. I'm just storing it there.
That's good. Storing it as opposed to it being stuck.
It's not stuck. It's stored.
Ooh,
yeah, and it's got a lock on it and a key on it, but it's stored. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Today is the last day to order Ken's brand new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love. And you can order it today and get for $20 and get $100 worth of extras, including resume templates, video courses, guides, resume guides, and the audio and the ebook, all included if you order today. If you order tomorrow for $20, you will get the book. Today you get all the other stuff.
Yeah, move on it.
Tomorrow's launch day, so get on it while you can. Right at RamseySolutions.com.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. Tyler and Melissa are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing good. Hey, Dave.
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
So we live in a small town called Trenton. It's near Cincinnati, Ohio. It's about 12,000 people in it.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome to Nashville. Good to have you. And all the way here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
So we paid off $49,992.
Love it. How long did that take?
It took 2.5 years.
Okay. And your range of income during that time?
About 60 to 70,000, although at one point it was about 40 when I had a back injury and was out of work.
What do y'all do for a living?
So I'm a sewer pipe inspector at a company called Televac Environmental.
And I'm a wedding photographer and a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, fun. Good for you guys. So what kind of debt was this $50,000?
Mainly my student loans, and then car.
Medical bills, credit card debt, just the whole 9 yards pretty much.
So how long y'all been married?
A little over 4 years.
Okay. So 2.5 years ago, something happened, and you start this Ramsey Journey stuff. What'd you do? What happened?
So what happened was our church, the Village Church in Hamilton, Ohio, they ended up hosting a Financial Peace University class, and that changed it all. So I just want to give praise to the people, the leaders for that. Mike and Liz Knudsen, really changed their lives.
Wow. Very cool. So you go in there and they're announcing it on Sunday morning that there's going to be a class, and you decide to take it.
Yes. Yep. We knew the way we were handling our money wasn't the greatest, and we just knew it could benefit our family. And we had a lot of weight from medical bills when our daughter was born, just a little bit before that. So kind of that pressure, I kind of pushed us into it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, there's something about having that first kid, and then there's some bills laying around. You're like, I got to get this mess cleaned up.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of a wake-up call, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, way to go. I'm proud of you guys. Great job. Very, very cool. Okay, so what did you do to get out of debt? Tell people what the key to getting out of debt is.
So there's a lot of keys for us. A couple of them was like vision. You know, we had to have a roadmap, kind of figure out what's coming in, what's going out. Communal care, right? We had support from community, family, friends, coworkers that would kind of talk to me along the journey. My parents let us live in their basement for a little bit. Her uncle ended up gifting us a car.
Wow.
You know, so. And my parents ended up gifting us a car as well.
Wow.
But a really big one, especially for marriages, I would say, is forgiveness. Like, because you could use the budget as a weapon if you wanted to. And do
you know anybody that might do that?
Yeah, I've definitely done it a few times. So,
so Melissa, you had to go, no weapon, we're working together.
It definitely took a little bit to actually get on train and stuff, but because I love Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx, Target, you know.
There's that. Okay, so a weapon to control Melissa's spending. Okay, I got it. All right. Okay, that works too. That works for me. I'll go with it. Hey, the good news is you got on the same page and started working it together. And so what was the hardest part of this whole process for y'all?
The hardest part of the process, I guess, was like the consistent grind, but the truly hardest was like when I was out of work. So I ended up getting a back injury. We were about almost a year into it, and I was out of work for about 8 months.
Whoa.
Yes, bad back injury. My discs were herniated and that, some mild grade spinal stenosis and that.
Wow.
And during that time, she kind of really helped us out with, you know, taking on more weddings as a photographer and that. But I went through kind of a depression and that, and ended up, you know, adding some more debt, you know, through that process and that. But God so preserved our lives, and, you know, 8 months after that, we kept going on this whole track, and then ended up 2.5 years, boom, we paid it all off.
Wow.
So
I wanted to ask you guys about going into that class, Financial Peace University. I'm just curious. You know, it's like we all revert to being childlike in our lives, even as adults. You know, you remember that first day of kindergarten or first day of junior high? It's scary. You're walking in. I'm curious, what was it like, even though it was your church, is that right? What was it like to walk into that class environment? This is a brand new thing for you, Melissa. Obviously, you're kind of like, I don't know. I'm curious, what was the dynamic like as you went in, week out?
Like, definitely it was like nervous at first, like I didn't know what to expect. But definitely I think just like the workbook and going through that with our class and like just the slides, I just remember like us having conversations, I think like weekly, just talking about it and like how it could help our family and all that stuff. So it was definitely mind-boggling, definitely took a lot to take in, but it definitely was worth it.
What was the part about other people in the class that maybe brought you into some comfort level, or, hey, we're not the only ones? Talk about that.
I mean, there's definitely other families in there, people who like even were childless, but it was just nice seeing other people that were like us going through the same things, people who had credit cards that needed to be done with that and all that stuff. So it was just really nice to know that we weren't alone.
Yeah. It makes you feel not so weird that you're not the only person on the planet that messed up with money.
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of normalizes that normal's broke.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be normal anymore. Yeah. Well, way to go, guys. It sounded like you had quite a long journey there, the grind and the setback, and then coming back after the setback, and well done. Very well done. Very proud of you guys.
Dave, I want to ask Melissa real quick. So, wedding photographer, I'm looking at the 2.5 year timeline here. Your weddings during COVID.
Yes.
How did you keep that going?
Kind of stressful, but a lot of my couples, I'm very thankful for them. They didn't actually reschedule for the following year. They kept their date, either had a smaller wedding or just postponed to like another date, and I was available. So it was just nice being able to keep my couples. And yeah, it was definitely challenging, especially it's just, COVID.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Wow. Very tough. And you brought your daughter with you. What is her name and age?
Her name is Leilani. She is 3.5 years old.
All right. and this is our why. This is why we did all this, just to change that. So hi, Leilani. Pretty girl. I love it. Unicorn Squad. It's a good squad to be on, I've heard.
I was unaware that it was a squad. I got to do some research, Dave.
You need to catch up on these things now.
Papa Dave knows these things.
Papa Dave knows these things. That's right. We got uniforms coming out our ears. All right. Way to go, guys. Very proud of you. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story to be baby steps millionaires. You're on your way. Way to go. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and get someone else started on their journey. Maybe one of those young couples you're shooting their wedding.
Yes.
You never know. You never know. Very good stuff. All right, Tyler, Melissa, and Leilani from the Cincinnati area, Trenton, $50,000 paid off in 2.5 years, making 60 to 70. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready, Lonnie?
Ready, Lonnie?
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
I love it. Man, that's so fun. It never gets old. It never gets old. No. Financial Peace University class taught, Ramsey Plus taught in a local church. Somebody jumps in at just the time that they need it, perfect timing, and boom, here we sit. Things are going the way they are supposed to go. Very, very well done.
And that's a great testimony, too, folks. If you're considering, you're going, I don't know anybody there, I don't even go to church there, trust me, they're going to welcome you. The people that are the coordinators are some of the finest people I've ever had the privilege to meet in my life. And then you just heard, there are going to be other people in there that have the same stuff you have. There's no shame.
It's everywhere.
Just go.
Most people aren't good with money.
Join a community.
Most people aren't. Yeah. He said the communal part of it.
That's right.
Family helped them. They were in a group. That's a big part of the process. It really is. Very, very well done, you guys. Proud of you. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Kansas City's on the line. Michael is with us. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Hey, Dave, great to talk to you.
Sure, you too. How can we help?
I'm calling. My mother passed away September of 20.
I'm sorry.
We are at the end. She didn't have a will. We're at the end of the probate process.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to figure out what we should do with the house. She owes about $90,000.
Mm-hmm.
There's some foundation damage. I'm not sure if we sold it as is, it would even be worth what she owes.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, me and my brother were the heirs.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get him to see if he could get a loan to take over the loan because he wants to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a convicted felon that's never really thought of working other than buying and selling used cars. So he only makes about $12,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. How's he going to pay $1,000 a month payment?
Well, he got quite a bit of money from life insurance and things like that. But if he doesn't work, that's going to run out, obviously.
Exactly.
So he, was like, well, maybe, we can both go in on it, but I don't really want to be involved, especially with him.
Not.
Right.
No.
So I
Here's
guess,
the thing. If the house is worth $90,000 and there's $90,000 owed on it, it's not worth anything to you. You could just let him take it.
Well, as the mortgage goes, do we need to...
You're not on the mortgage, are you? You didn't sign the mortgage, did you?
No, it is my mom's mortgage.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what kind of mortgage it is? Fannie Mae, FHA, VA?
It's just a FHA.
Okay. Then your brother can take over the payments without having refinanced it.
Oh, he can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The FHA will not foreclose on an estate. They'll let him just pay the payments as long as he keeps them current. Obviously, when he quits keeping them current, they'll take the house. But
yeah, he's been paying the payment since she passed.
Okay.
Because he was living there, taking care of her.
Okay. Yeah. I just let him have it then. Let him just tell him to pay the payment. Don't miss a payment though.
No, I thought maybe if we put a little money into it, we could probably sell it for twice what she's owed on it, and then make a little money on it. But
okay, that's a different scenario than what you laid out. You said the house was worth what was owed on it.
Yeah, if we didn't do any repairs.
Yeah, yeah. And how much insurance money did you and your brother get?
We ended up getting about $80,000 apiece.
Okay, and how much in repairs would you do, and then what would the house be worth if you did those repairs?
I think if we put 20 into it, we could probably sell it for 160 to 180 in this market.
Mm-hmm. What do you make a year?
I make 80, and I'm, married with kids and.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I got my own mortgage and a second mortgage to help my kids go to college, but
you got $80,000 in the bank. Yeah. So because here's the thing, your brother would like to stay there. If you guys both put in 10 each of your insurance money, you're going to get that 10 back and another 30 or another 20 or something, right?
Correct.
Each.
Right.
After all the smoke clears and you go through all this trouble and everything.
Well, he would actually get a little more because he's been paying the mortgage.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you some weird advice. Okay.
Great.
You're signing up for a bunch of hassle. Your brother's had a mess of a life and needs a leg up. I'm going to take my $80,000 and let him have the house and walk away. That's a gift to your brother a little bit, but it's also a gift to yourself in lack of hassle, lack of problems, lack of whatever. He was there. He took care of your mom. Yes, he's paid the payments. Yes, all that. But this will give him a good, hard, fresh start. If he wants to put 20 of his 80 into it and flip it, he can make a little money. I don't think he's going to do that. And I think you can just walk away from the hassle and the problems that you're getting ready to sign up for and do your brother a favor, do something nice for him in the process. I think this is a win-win to walk away. What do you think, Ken?
I agree.
I think that's a great idea.
How much debt do you have?
I have $20,000 on a second mortgage to help my kids go to college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'd pay
and then
off.
I have a mortgage.
Yeah, so I agree with Dave.
Pay off the second, bank some of it for the rest of college.
That's right.
And you got a clean, clear life out of this. You guys have gone through the grieving of losing your mom together. And I want it to be a clear conversation with him that I'm giving him a gift that might be worth as much as $20,000.
And that thought process has come up in our discussions. But so I would just really want to get some advice, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think this is a good time for generosity on your part.
Yeah.
That's going to benefit everyone. It's just a thought.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, Dave. I think this is a nice move. It takes it off of his shoulders. It's done. I've gifted my brother. I've given him an opportunity, and thus doing so, I'm not going to get any more money. But I got 80 from Mom. I'm debt free except for the house. With a stroke of one check, and still some money left.
Some money left.
And money left
for the kids to go to college.
Kids to go to college.
Yeah. And we're not tied up in some kind of real estate flip this house crap on cable TV.
Because you know more about this than I do, but it's never as simple as it's just 20. It's just 20, and then we'll flip it.
And it always takes longer, and you're trying to find construction people in a weird market right now. And I just if there's $150,000 on the line, we might talk about it, but there's not.
Yeah.
And when all the smoke clears on this, it might not have been worth the trouble anyway, that kind of thing. So, good question. All right, Daniel's with us in New York City. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Hey, how can we help, sir?
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so my question is basically, and don't get mad at me, Dave, but I think I want to lease a car.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not supposed to lease a car.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to buy a used one in cash.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I can afford to lease a car, and I think it's the better move for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious what you have to say on that.
Well, you kind of know what I'm going to say, obviously, don't you?
Yeah, but maybe...
Well, Daniel, I think this is where you lay out your case for Dave. You know what he's going to say, so why do you think it's a better deal than buying a used car?
Okay, good idea. Right, so why I think is because I could, let's say, try to find a reliable used car for, let's say, $10,000 or $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally wouldn't feel comfortable driving that around in terms of reliability because for work, I'm driving sometimes 2 hours in the middle of nowhere. I just don't want to, risk anything. I want to have a new car, and 10 years from now, I don't want to be driving a 10-year-old car.
Okay.
So that's why for me. Mm-hmm. That's why I think, and I don't have any debt.
You're how old?
I'm 23.
And your income is what?
I make 120.
Okay, good for you.
How many miles you putting on that car?
I would probably keep within the 10,000 miles a year.
Not if you're driving 2.5 hours a day.
That's where I had a problem with your math.
Are you driving 4 miles an hour?
No, but it's not every day. I work for myself, so I'm not working every day.
Dude, you're in prison with those lease miles, buddy.
Okay, so wait a minute. You can't have it both ways, okay? You can't have it. I drive 2.5 miles a day. I drive 2.5 hours every day, so I need a reliable car. But wait a minute. No, I don't drive 2.5 hours a day. I only drive 10,000 miles a year, so I don't need a reliable car. Occasionally, I drive 2.5 hours.
Yeah, frequently.
Okay. Well, not frequently because you would be over 10,000 miles.
The occasional frequency. It doesn't add up.
You can't, Daniel, you can't have it both ways. The math doesn't work in your discussion, okay? So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Broke people drive new cars. There's two people that drive brand new cars. Mega millionaires and broke people. These are the only two people. The vast majority of new cars are broke people because they go down in value like a rock. You're either going to put the miles on this fleece car and you're going to blow the lease up, or you're not going to put the miles on it and it's going to eat you alive. You can do what you want to do. You call me. There's no possible way I'm going to tell a 23-year-old who's smart enough to make $120,000 to go fleece a stupid car.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, host of the Ken Coleman Show, is my co-host today. Tomorrow is book launch day for Ken. His brand new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, The Clear Path to Doing Work You Love, is in bookstores available tomorrow. Be shipped tomorrow to those of you that have pre-purchased it. Speaking of which, if you pre-order by midnight tonight, you will spend $20 for the book and get $100 plus worth of goodies added in, included in the process. And man, pretty incredible. You're going to get resume templates, guides, a video course, the audio book, the e-book, all of it included, all for just purchasing the $20 book. Why? Because pre-orders matter towards the bestseller list, and we bribe you into pre-ordering because you're going to get the book anyway. You might as well get all the goodies. So go ahead and order it right now at RamseySolutions.com while you have the chance. Last day to do that. Tomorrow is launch day. Lots of media and stuff happening this week for you. You're going to be really busy.
Yeah, we're excited. We're getting the word out, and we would have never known that the scenario that we sit in now, this great resignation, people considering moving, coming out of the pandemic, moving more than they've ever moved before in their work because they know that there's more there. They want a bigger paycheck, but they also want to do work that has more values attached to it. So it's a very exciting time to see what's going to happen as the world shifts. Certainly the American workforce is shifting tremendously. And so we're excited about it, going to be talking about it anywhere we can possibly talk about it.
Yeah. So if you're one of those 55% or so thinking about changing jobs, listen, you don't want to just change jobs. You don't want to go from the frying pan into the fire. More money and I hate my job in a toxic environment.
Yeah.
You need to be careful what you wish for, right? And so from paycheck to purpose, making as much or more money than you make now and get meaning.
Yeah.
This is the goal. Yeah. You don't have to take a 50% pay cut to be a happy camper.
No.
Matter of fact, that's not going to make you a happy camper.
Mm-hmm.
Money doesn't make you happy. That's not the point. But the point is you need to get after this. So, hey, paycheck to purpose at RamseySolutions.com. Get it while you can today with all the goodies attached. Daniel's going to start off this hour in Knoxville. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call. I'm doing well.
Great. How can we help?
So I have a baby step 4 question for y'all. So in order to maintain that 25% ratio across fund categories in my IRA, I feel like I'm only ever sinking money into the international fund. The basis in that fund is much higher than the others, and it's growing, right? So every time I deposit money, it's always into that international fund because it's performed not as well as the rest. Is that still the correct way to invest, or am I interpreting y'all's advice incorrectly?
Way to go. You're really paying attention. The international category of the 4 categories sucks. I mean, it's bad. It's ugly. And so you notice that. That's a good thing. And what you're trying to do is rebalance your portfolio with your monthly contributions.
That's right.
I would not do that. I'm fine if a category's sucking if it gets a little bit out of balance, because I'm going to end up with less in a sucky category.
Okay.
Until it comes roaring back, and then when it comes roaring back. I got so pissed off about this international category underperforming because I've given the same information, and I personally invest that way. My personal 401k is like we're talking about, just 25% into each category, period. And I don't go back and rebalance. Some people go back and rebalance every year or two. And if you want to, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. But you're not going to usually see a huge change on your results if you do. Now, what I did do, Daniel, just as a side note, because you noticed something that a lot of people haven't really brought up, is that I considered maybe we need to change our advice because that category is so bad. Maybe we just need to go third, and drop the international because it's like a 20-year run of suck. I mean, it's bad. Right. And so what I did, though, I went back with my ELP or my Smart Investor Pro, and I had him run a whole bunch of scenarios, and I told him what I was thinking about. And I said, not only am I thinking about changing mine, I'm thinking about changing, because I'm not going to change mine and not tell y'all. Okay, I think the market's moved, and I think this international category is bad. I was ready to go there. And we ran the scenarios out 14 different ways, and they found all kinds of anomalies and all kinds of things in the marketplace. Because I always look back 30, 40 years. I don't look back just 3 years or even 15 years, right? I want to look back. I want to see how this market moves, how it reacts. And they said, okay, over 40 years, here's what it would look like if you had the international in your mix at 25% going in, no rebalancing. Back to your original question. And here's what it would look like if you didn't have the international. And even though the international sucked, it has offset the other times that the domestic market is turned down. It's shot up because it runs inverse of the other markets usually. Enough times that I actually end up with more money with the sucky category in there, which is weird. So I left I left it in my portfolio, and I did not change my recommendations after running out actual hypotheticals, they're called in that world, and running it out that way. But yeah, I would not recommend to do what you're doing. It's not the end of the world if you do, but I think you're working too hard to get a lame horse to run. And so throwing that extra money on that international. So I just put 25% on everything. And if you want to rebalance or move some around a little bit, if it gets way out of whack, that'd be fine. But I think over a long period of time, the thing will probably pretty naturally rebalance or get close to it. Long period being 20, 30 years, not 2 years. So that's the thing. I have never done what you're doing. I've always done 25% each, period, a fourth each. I've not done it, not rebalanced with the contribution rate in order to get it to catch up. If you do that, you're probably going to be okay, but I think you'll make more money the way I'm talking about than the way you're doing it. I think mathematically that's the way it's going to work.
If when you say to him, okay, if you do that, so it's fine. I don't think you're going to win, and you explain why. But if someone was going to do that, what would that allocation look like instead of 25?
Well, what he's doing is he's putting more than 25% into the international because it's dipping.
To try to gas it up.
To try to catch it, try to have it catch up, get the balance to catch up, because he's trying to get his balances to be 25% each. So it just depends on how long you've been doing it and how far in the hole that account is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could put 90% into the international and for it to catch up if you had to,
Got it.
But again, I'm not going that route.
Exactly.
I'm just going to keep plugging along here. Here's the interesting thing. The fact that you're looking at this and you're paying attention and you're using good critical thinking skills and you're constantly investing and you're constantly investing and you're constantly investing, that's what we found in all the data that causes people to win more than the technicalities. The technicalities don't end up mattering as much as paying attention and continuing. Paying attention and continuing. That's what we found with all the data on the millionaires. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. This hour as we talk about your life and your money. This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Aaron is with us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Aaron. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave and Ken. How are y'all today?
Great. How can we help?
Yeah, so my question is I could apply for a position within my company that I'm working at now, but I'm not sure if that's the best idea for me. I'm hoping that y'all could, as unbiased, could help me determine that. To give you a little bit of background, I've been at this company for almost 5 years, and I was promised growth opportunities whenever I was hired. Unfortunately, that has seemed to be a lie. The growth track that I thought I was on doesn't appear to be a viable track for growing. So I was wondering what Ken and you might say about that.
Okay. So in your honest opinion, have you been able to do everything that you feel like you could do to be the best that you can be and the contribution you've made over that 5 years, and you still feel like no track for growth, no opportunities have come your way?
Yes and no. There's definitely the potential where I could apply for this new position, and it would be the growth opportunity that I would want. However, I'm being told that the work that I've been doing over the last several years do not qualify me for this position, as I was originally led to believe.
Well, whether you were led to believe that or not, the reality is they're telling you that the work you're doing now hasn't qualified you for this other position. So it doesn't seem like that's an absolute possibility. So I think going after something like that where they've told you, your leadership has told you you're not qualified, it's like me trying to go outside and dunk a basketball tonight on a 10-foot rim. It's just not going to happen. And so it feels like to me we've got to start to look elsewhere.
Because he's short, by the way, just to let you know.
And can't jump. I've got the double hurdle there.
Yeah,
so I understand the want to, but the leadership has said you're not qualified for it. And I think you're setting yourself up for frustration and disappointment that's unnecessary when I think it might be time for you to look elsewhere. And I think really it's about getting clear.
Aaron, let me ask you this. Okay, so if I understand you right, you're coming in. You came into this job and you were told if you do X, Y, and Z that you'll be able to move on to this type of a position. Now you've done X, Y, and Z, and now they're coming back and saying that's not true. What we told you was wrong, or what you understood was wrong, that you didn't do X, Y, and Z. So, or even if you do X, Y, and Z, you're not qualified. Is that what you're telling me? Because the way you've structured your sentences two different times in this conversation, it sounded like you think you work for liars.
Well, I will say I definitely have a new manager, and I think that this new manager wants me to apply for this new position. However, I feel like I have.
If there's no chance of getting it, why does your new manager want you to apply for it?
That's my thing. Is I don't understand the thought process behind my managers, and I've tried to get some clarification, and I'm still uncertain. Coworkers are saying you should just apply because there's no harm in it, and I understand that, but at the same time, it's causing me more frustration and emotional and mental harm than it is doing me good trying to fight for something that I can't get.
All right. Well, then don't do it. And you also have some concerns.
I'm so confused. I don't know why you can't get it. Your manager told you to apply for it. He's not going to tell you to apply for something you can't get.
Honestly, I can't tell you why, Dave. I've been asking for cross-training opportunities to get a position like this for at least 3 out of the 4 to 5 years that I've been here.
So why would your manager tell you to apply for something that you have zero chance of getting? That's not logical.
They haven't told me specifically to apply for it, but I just get the sense that they would like for me to.
Okay, but do you have a sense that they think you're not qualified, or did they tell you you're not qualified?
They specifically told, there's 2 positions available. One is a lower level position than the actual position that I'm looking for. And that position, both are currently available. I think she would like for me to apply for the lower position, but she has told me that I'm not eligible, that I'm not qualified for the higher position.
All right, but do you even want the higher position? Let's just remove all this for a second, all this confusion and back and forth. Do you even want the position? If you were qualified, would you be jumping for it?
Yeah, actually, whenever I began to apply for the position that I currently have, I originally applied for that position, and they asked for me to apply for the position that I currently have.
Okay.
So I've been asking for that position ever since I've been there.
Oh, I get it. I think there's a pattern here. Do you feel that you're qualified on paper for this role?
I think so.
Well, no. I don't want to think so. I mean, like, do you know if you look at this position out in the marketplace?
Like, if you went somewhere else, you could make a case to when you're being interviewed that you should be able to get this job done.
So you feel you're qualified?
I believe so.
Okay. I think it's time to start looking today. Let's start looking. Let's test the market. Let's find out. There's a gap here between you feel like, well, Dave's right. I feel like you feel like they're dishonest. We're not saying you're wrong. We're just saying it's all over you. You feel like they've been dishonest with you. They're not giving you an opportunity. We got previous management saying you're not qualified. New person comes in. I think there's too much of this stuff going on. You
Getting your
elsewhere.
Dream job with dishonest people is not your dream job.
Yeah.
That's my thought process as well, Dave.
Yeah. So you move on.
Yeah.
If that's why I was asking where your head was on that issue, because if you feel like that, because they're going to cut your knees out from under you if they're going to cut if that's who they are, if that's the real conclusion that you've come to. Now you beat around the bush in this conversation. You've not been clear with us. We've had to pull this out of you. So keep in mind. I mean, I don't know whether you're trying to be nice or what you're trying to do, but the bottom line is the issue here is you don't trust your leadership. And that means it's time to move.
Yeah. Listen, folks, when you feel there's a lid on you, whether you know all the reasons or not, start looking elsewhere, because it's only a matter of time before you become bitter, and then this thing can turn toxic on your end, and you end up burning a bridge and hurting your future because you're just sitting around kind of Eeyoring. You got to move on. And I think I'd start looking today. Again, this is such a great time to look, and this is where we find out, by the way, if we are qualified.
Yeah, if you go out there and can't get the job, then maybe they were right.
That's right.
They weren't dishonest. They were just being honest. They were telling you the truth. You're not qualified.
We got to find the common denominator in this situation.
Yeah.
Is it him?
That'll do it.
Or is it leadership?
Go do some interviews. If you don't get the job, then you'll know.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. Yeah. So at least hypothetically, you'll know.
Yeah.
So, the other thing you can do is have some very clear, precise language, not like you used with us, discussions with some leaders in the organization and go, listen, I really feel like this is what I was promised. I feel like I've lived up to it, so I'm really struggling with why I shouldn't get this position.
Yeah.
Can you show me what I need to do to be able to follow through on what I thought we were doing? And that's a very clear, concise set of words.
Yeah.
And you don't have to accuse somebody of lying to do that. You can just challenge out the situation and say, I need to know why it is that after 5 years and having done these things that I'm not able to do the thing that I thought that I signed up for to get to.
See, this is very important, folks. Make sure you hear what Dave said. Most weak leaders, they're just weak. Doesn't mean they're bad people, but weak leaders don't communicate clearly. They're afraid of confrontation. So by being honest, like Dave just described, with that kind of posture, very clear, put the ball in their court. And if you give them a clear question and they don't give you clear back, there's your answer. This is weak leadership. They're never going to tell me what I need to hear, because we need to hear it. But it takes us being honest.
What kind of value do I need to add to be qualified?
Yes.
And when I do that, then what you're saying is, then I get the role.
Right.
And if they look at you and go, one of the things you're going to have to learn is clear communication.
It might be.
That could be the comeback,
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. So that's the kind of stuff. But there's nothing wrong with testing the waters and going and interviewing, especially if you've lost faith in the integrity of the organization. That's really when it's time to move on. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Mike and Christy are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great, hello. Dave. How about you?
Good to have you. Where do you guys live?
I'm at Minville, Tennessee.
Oh, just over the hill.
Just over the hill.
Well, thanks for joining us here, guys. Great. And how much debt have y'all paid off?
$56,984 in the past 18 months.
Wow, that was quick. And your range of income during that time?
$100,000 between the two.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a tool maker in a plastic injection company. She's a kindergarten teacher.
Kindergarten teacher at Eastside Elementary.
All right. Fun. Very fun. So what kind of debt was your $57,000?
Oh, a lot of fun. Credit cards, truck, Jeep, house.
Kind of normal?
Yes, normal.
Oh, you paid off your house?
Yeah. Yes.
In the $57,000?
Well,
wow. Yes. Wow. Okay. Very cool. Looking at weird people.
That's us.
Okay. So you had normal debt.
Yes.
And have been going along. How long y'all been married?
24 years.
Okay. And you look up 18 months ago and decided to do this crazy Ramsey stuff. What happened?
Well, actually, my mother had given me a book in 92 when I got my first home. And she's always preached to me about saving and working and not being in debt and paying for cash for things. And of course, I ignored all of it and had a lot of fun and running up credit card bills, about $10,000 in that. And you felt like I didn't have a way out. You feel trapped. You feel smothered. But then you started seeing progress, and then 18 months ago, we decided that I'm tired of this and let's get out of it.
We started following your baby steps, and I was marking off each step. We started with the lowest, then kept marking them off, and just visually seeing that just made a difference for us. And then we printed off your little bricks on the house where you mark off the bricks when you go. And of course that helped us keep going. And we have 2 children in college too, so we did all of this while we're paying for college too, and 2 others over here. But
where are they in college?
One is at UTC and one is at Tennessee Tech, and thankfully they did the community college thing for 2 years.
And both affordable schools that they're in, 4-year schools, so you're not you didn't go crazy on that.
No,
so that's good.
The
Very
scholarships helped a
lot. So
lot.
1992, your mother gave you one of my books.
Yes,
we have it with us.
The little blue one.
Yeah,
it has to be because that's the first year a book came out.
I said that's the one I want signed. I want the one Mom gave me.
That's that thing's a classic. I mean, 92 is the first year that it came out. I saw those out of the trunk of my car, just like that car over there. Oh my God!
See, that's vintage.
That's vintage.
I like that.
I'm a slow reader.
Yeah, that or slow on the uptick, but just took 30 years to get around to it.
That's all.
So, but then, okay, so what happened 18 months ago that was the wake-up call that made you get so intense?
Well, I was really pushing it, I'll be honest, and I just wanted him to get on board with me, and we would just be very intentional about our spending, and I kind of started doing the minimalist thing where less is more, and that helped out a whole lot. And it wasn't easy because I had a bump in the road. I had a stage 1 breast cancer diagnosis last year in August. So that kind of set us back a little bit, but I went through the radiation treatments and we just kept persevering, and we're here now.
And you're cancer-free now.
Cancer-free now. It's been a year.
That's good. Debt-free, cancer-free. What a year.
Yes.
It was, like for us, the budget, working on the budget, that was probably the hardest part for me, because when you put it on paper and you see, I mean, there was actually a few years back when the kids were just born, not just the twins, but Noah and Katie. I was working, she was at home with the kids, and it's a lot of stress when you're asking for overtime and you're just trying to break even. Because at 40 hours, there was a time that, $94 a week, I was in the hole at 40 hours a week. And that's a lot of stress on a dad and a marriage and a home, and it just builds on you. And as the past 18 months, you see that light at the end of that tunnel. As one gets paid off, you get the credit card paid off, you get the trip paid off, you get the truck paid off, and it just starts snowballing, just like just like you teach, and you see that hope. And I didn't know how much stress I really had because it'd been there for so long. And once you start getting to the end of it, it's like, man, what can I do? I mean, it's like I look at everything totally different now. It's what can I do? Instead of what I can't do. It's like I told my wife, instead of buying on time, I want to live on my time now. I don't want to just struggle.
I like it.
And we want to give God all the glory, because none of this would be possible without Him. We definitely put Him first in our lives, and we're here now because of Him.
We've been blessed with health and things that bumps come along, but it still worked out, and getting to work through a pandemic. I didn't have to worry about any of that. I could still work and still go and still do, and it's just been a blessing. It's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, Christy, I got to go back in the story because I think I'm missing something here, and I want to make sure I'm catching on what's happening. Okay, so we go along, and about 18 months ago, you somehow connected to us fresh.
I had been listening to you for a while.
Oh, you had been listening for a while. Okay,
for several years.
You just kind of turned up the old heat a little bit in your sweet little way.
Yes, and I was listening to your daughter too, and
okay, so you just kept turning it up a little bit,
Because we did try this several years back.
Yes.
And
I gave up.
Yeah, we weren't on board, and we weren't intentional with it. So we just became intentional, and this paid off.
It just felt like
this woman is a force of nature. You realize
she
that?
with
a smile.
I pity the kindergartner that crosses her.
Look at Mike. He's going through active recovery right there.
Yeah, it's the truth. That is the truth.
Yeah, I can see it. Hey, Mike, I do want to ask you, because you shared some really gut-wrenching stuff there, and I think a lot of people
Very powerful.
feel.
Very powerful.
All right, what's it like on the other side? And I mean, I want you to describe.
Now that you're free.
I want you to describe, because you said you didn't know what it felt like because you'd had it so long. So now on the other side, what is the positive emotional and physical peace that you have?
You're not trapped. I mean, and what I mean by that is, I mean, I love my job. I mean, I've been a toolmaker all my life, in my working life, and I've been there since '92. For coming up on 30 years. Wow. But you feel. I don't owe anybody anything. I can give. We have some very dear friends, lost a daughter to cancer during all this, almost, not hardly a year ago, but I want to help, and I want to help. I want to, if it's just giving something to St. Jude, or if it's just I just want to help.
Yeah.
And those opportunities, you see you see somebody that's alone and eating at a restaurant. I'm not secrets out, I guess now, but I want to buy their lunch and let them not know, and just go the little things. Yeah. Nothing big, but just you can just do those things and not worry. You can you're a little kinder, you're a little nicer, it's a little sweeter at home. I mean, because the family's growing, and we're just kind of off and running. And you can step and watch. And I had COVID in August, and I missed the month of work. But guess what? There was a savings, and I didn't have to worry about it. And it's just those types of things that you see it working. And
that's great.
And it's.
Yeah. And you brought two of your daughters with you. What are their names?
Kristen and Kerrigan.
Okay. And they're the twins.
They're the twins.
Okay. How old are they?
15.
All right.
Yeah.
15. So here comes some more college.
Yes.
I like it. Good. But now we're ready.
We're ready.
Game on.
We're ready.
I'm so proud of y'all. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very well done. What's this house worth you paid off?
Probably about $350.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like
on
it.
our way to being baby steps millionaires then.
That'd be nice.
Well, you're right there. You're going to be there before you know it. Well done, you guys. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. Copy of Total Money Makeover. Maybe you can give it away to somebody and they'll read it before 1992.
Yes, we hope to help others, definitely.
I love it. Yeah. All right, count it down, gang. $57,000 paid off in 18 months, making $100 a year. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free.
That's gold right there, man.
Yeah.
That is gold. There was so much in that. So much going on. That's fun.
Mike might get in trouble for getting ahead of the count there.
He might. You never know. This is The Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day, Philippians 3:13 and 14. One thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Serena Williams said, "Don't let anyone work harder than you do." That's important right there. Guys, it's almost time for Christmas. It's going to sneak up on you, but for some of you, what should be a time of joy, tradition, togetherness is stress. You're stressing over how you're going to pay for presents, the big grocery bills, the stuff. Doesn't have to be that way. When you have a plan, you have confidence instead of stress. And when everything else seems out of control, Financial Peace University will show you how to put that plan in place. You're going to learn step by step how to get out of debt, save money, build wealth, be outrageously generous. You'll put the plan into practice by budgeting with every dollar. It syncs up easily with your bank. You can track your spending. You can finally see where your money goes. You get all of this with a Ramsey Plus membership, and that's the only way to get it. You don't have to live through a stressed out Christmas. Make 2022 the year you start winning, because right now you start a free trial of Ramsey Plus by texting trial to 33789. A free trial by texting trial to 33789. Kevin is in Orlando. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my wife and I, we have a baby on the way. We just purchased a house together. I'm trying to decide whether my previous house, which I had paid off, whether I should throw all of that at my mortgage or invest that, in the market in some kind of safe, conservative mutual funds.
Well, you're debt-free other than the homes.
We have a car payment, but just going to pay that off once we get the new money from the house.
Okay, so the original house you're talking about is sold or is going to be sold, and how much are you going? How much are you going to receive from it?
About $550.
$550,000 clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how much do you owe on your car?
Just under $60,000.
And what do you owe on your home?
$800,000.
And what's your household income?
Just about $400,000 a year.
Wow, way to go, dude. What do you guys do for a living?
Thank you. We're both in healthcare.
Okay, congratulations. Very well done. Great careers. Okay. Well, what we have found is that the first $1 to $5 million of net worth that people get is typically from a paid-for house and their retirement accounts in 401ks, 403bs, IRAs. Our baby step number 1 is save $1,000. You've obviously done that. 2 is to be debt-free, everything but the house. We got a plan to pay off the $60,000 car, which is going to leave us $490,000 with an $800,000 mortgage. Baby step 3 is saving 3 to 6 months of expenses. How much non-retirement saving and investing do you currently have?
Just under $900,000.
Non-retirement.
Yes, money market account and savings.
Okay. What I would do if I woke up in your shoes is I would pay off my house. 100%.
Okay.
Now you're sitting there with a paid-for house, a $400,000 income. You have an emergency fund set aside of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and now there's nothing left to do but build wealth. And be outrageously generous. But no house payment is going to get you there. And here's what you're going to find. Okay, you're in a high-stress environment that is emotionally and intellectually fatiguing. Agreed?
Correct.
You're going to feel something that you don't anticipate, that your intellect doesn't tell you you're going to feel. When you pay off this house, you're going to feel a release, a sense of peace. Because it's like having a backache and you've had it so long you don't even realize it's there and you don't think about it, but when it's gone, you're like, wow, I just got set free. That's pretty incredible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay off that house. That's the way I have lived personally. And once I got there, it was fairly easy to become very, very wealthy with that kind of income and not a payment in the world. Plus, you don't have a care in the world. In the middle of weirdness. And, dude, you've experienced some weirdness in healthcare in the last 24 months. Agreed?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so one less thing, I have too. I've had all kinds of stress around the business and trying to keep this 1,000 people employed and revenues going up, revenues going down, entire areas of revenue disappearing and trying to run this thing. But I never had the stress of worrying about a foreclosure. I never had the stress of worrying about if I personally was going to be left out in the cold, because it was all paid for. There's a release there, the borrower's slave to the lender. And when you're 100% debt-free, there's a freedom that's going to cause you to prosper yet even more. Changes your decision-making paradigm.
It really does. And you're right. At this stage where they are at, this is the right move. It sets them up for their future.
Serious good position you've gotten yourself into. Well done. Catherine's in London. Hi, Catherine. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Ken. Thank you very much for taking my call. This is my first time calling in, so I'm thrilled to have got through.
Well, we're honored to have you. How can we help?
Okay, so my question, so essentially I'm in a job that I don't love, but I have the equivalent of about $27,000 worth of debt that I need to pay off. My job is well paid. I make about $98,000 equivalent before tax. Then I want out, but then I've got this debt that I need to pay. I have an 8-year-old son who's in private school that I'm paying for. And my question essentially is, how do I plan an exit from a job that I don't love?
Yeah. Well,
I've got this debt.
Okay, well, a couple of things. Don't walk into this with the assumption that if you change jobs that you have to take a big pay cut. And we're not going to jump off of a cliff here. We don't want to see any interruption in income. So, Catherine, if there's no interruption in income and you can step into something else that is much more enjoyable, that doesn't have all the factors at play that's going on with what's going on now, you wouldn't even be calling us. You'd be like, okay. And so let's start with the assumption that we're not going to have an interruption in income. Okay, that's first. But the question is, do you know what you would love to do? Or is there a job that you are very intrigued by, a career path that you've always wanted to pursue?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm 45, and I kind of feel like, so I work in healthcare, and I've worked in healthcare for 25 years.
Okay.
And I have been looking at other roles that are within my field, but it's quite a thriving industry at the moment. But every role that I come across, I don't even bother to read the whole job spec. But I'm just not interested, and I don't know if it's because if it's a combination of part of the reason why I don't love my job.
Okay. All right. So let me.
The issues I was experiencing, or the pandemic, I kind of feel like I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Well, you have to listen to that. But here's what I want you to do. You've got some debt. You make really good money, and you've got some debt that you can pay off pretty quickly if you stay focused. So for right now, Catherine, I want you to stay in this job. I know you don't love it. I know you want out, but let's change our attitude. The attitude is, hey, I'm grateful for this job because it's taking care of me, my 8-year-old son, and it's allowing me to pay off debt, and I'm going to stay put until I've got something to step into. So that's our focus. So here's what I want to do. Kelly, let's give Catherine a link to the Get Clear Career Assessment that we sell here, Ramsey Solutions, KenColeman.com. Would you take the assessment? It's going to point out a whole lot to you that you've never seen before. And then let's come up with a clear path. Hang on, we're going to give you the brand new From Paycheck to Purpose because it's the field guide to the mountain that the assessment will point out. Both of these tools, Catherine, will show you the direction that you need to go. Walk through it stage by stage. Don't interrupt your income and you're going to be fine.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.